Hello, are you able to hear me? So if you can just go back and recollect from yesterday's session, man. We said like whenever you're trying to operate on the construct of implementation, client gives you one particular type of format and the database developer is converting the data into record format stored in the table, and the data finally is in the form of files. When we are requesting the data using SQL statements, we request the data. SQL statements have the ability to convert your data in the format of a file to records once again, and records to any particular form in the end user's environment. If you want to convert, the end user developers, means front end developers, will take the responsibility. So finally, one thing is very clear. Is Oracle is storing the data in the form of files? You should be answering me. Is Oracle is storing the data in the form of files? Yes. Because finally, when you want to store your data in the operating system, you should store the data only in the form of files. Do you agree with me? Hello. Now, a developer, is he storing the data in the form of files? I want to answer from you. Is developer is storing the data in the form of files? No. A developer is always storing the data in the tables. Am I clear? We are always storing the data in the tables. Means internally Oracle is having some storage architecture. Do you agree with me? So once you install your Oracle and you start operating with your Oracle, man, Oracle has its own data storage architecture. Now, being a developer, you don't need to really understand the internal architectural details, but you should have the idea of how exactly the criteria and composition of this process is managed in Oracle. Now, if you remember very clearly, we said like your databases always contain two kinds of structures. One is logical structures and the other is the physical structures. Yes or no? Do you remember? Now, logical structures are nothing but structures that are fundamentally provided by the corresponding technology, where you have to keep your data exactly in relevance to that structure. Can I store my information against to the structures provided by the technology? No. So according to Oracle, always keep one thing in your mind. All the logical structures in the database must be stored within the database only. What Oracle says is, you are expecting to store anything in Oracle, you should see that every type of object that you're operating and you want to implement, it should be part of the database only. If it is anything external to the Oracle database, that is not my responsibility. That's what Oracle says. Now, here one very big conflict will start. If you are a student coming from computer sciences with a very fundamental experience, mostly you could be having this doubt. Sir, Oracle is one of the technology what we are installing and configuring on the machine, which is fundamentally on an operating system. Now, can Oracle do anything against to the operating system? Hello, can Oracle do anything against to the operating system? No. Now, anything you keep in the operating system, is it part of Oracle? Anything I keep in my operating system, will it becomes automatically part of Oracle? No. But finally, whatever data you are storing in the tables, this data in the tables, whatever you are trying to store, it should be recognized. It should be definitely recognized in the form of files that are recognized by the OS. Am I correct? Now, see the controversy here, man. What Oracle is saying? Oracle is saying that if you want to store anything as part of the Oracle database, you should keep it only within the Oracle database. That is nothing but the construct of the logical structures. If it is not done like that, I will not take any responsibility for your state of data. But finally, I think without keeping the data in external system, under the concept of files, we cannot manage any data in the world. But don't you think that this statement of Oracle is contradicting the actual computer science architectural storage? This is an area where you should really appreciate Oracle, the way it has developed its architecture. So Oracle, what it does now, there can be only one type of object in your total project when you're developing a database, or many objects can be there. Tell me, many objects can be there. Now, these all objects, they definitely need some physical storage space on your computer. Am I correct? Now, when you want physical storage space on your computer says that the storage space can be in the form of file only. Am I correct? But Oracle says that I will accept any data for storage only in the form of a table. Table is not a file, and file is not a table. That's practically clear. Then how exactly operating system and Oracle are synchronizing for their storage? And how Oracle remembers all these objects in your projects that are existing and how they are operating. So Oracle maintains one special kind of component called as data dictionary, which records metadata about all these database objects. Okay, which records metadata about all these database objects. So internally, once you install your Oracle and you configure your Oracle, Oracle will start maintaining a component called as a data dictionary. The job of this data dictionary is to record every individual object that you're technically storing within that particular piece of the Oracle database. Am I clear? Hello. It is something like this one. Okay. Let us just correlate this with one symbolic example. You purchased a book in the market. Okay. Catch my statements very carefully. You purchased a book in the market, man, and your book is of, say, like some 1,500 pages. Okay. 1,500 pages are there. And in that particular book, you're having anything around, say, like some 250 chapters. Are you clear up to here? Now, you want to directly go very quickly to a particular chapter in the book, man. What you will do? Come on, I want answers from you. You will go to the topics page. You will be having one starting page which is called as contents or topics. Do you remember? And in that particular topics page, you won't say like some 25th chapter. Are you not searching 25th chapter is where Opposite to that, you check the page number and you directly switch to the page number. Yes or no? Now, this first page or second page, where you have the name of all the chapters written along with the page numbers, we generally call it as what? Index. Now, this is something you can say it's a data dictionary, which is telling you which chapter is where. When you create any object in Oracle, Oracle maintains exactly the similar kind of structure internally. Are you getting me? Are you getting me? So without contacting the data dictionary, Oracle never operates for that data. So contacting the data dictionary means Oracle understands that object is existing where and how it should be operated. So once this data dictionary is created, Oracle will now start allocating the physical storage space for these objects on the computer system, and this storage space in the form of files, which file is there, what path is there. If I reveal the location where my file is there, the name of the file and its drive and everything, if I reveal, don't you think that the security is lost? Yes or no? Because anybody can access that file directly from the operating system. So what Oracle does is it allocates the physical space and physical storage for that particular object on the computer system by using one more object called as table space. Okay. So finally, Oracle is allocating physical space for every object in its database under one special kind of object called as what? Table space. Is that point clear to you? Now, actually, these table spaces and everything are created by administrators, man. But if you're keeping experience in your resume, definitely you will face the heat from your particular interviewers. What is exactly a table space in Oracle database? Now, this itself will become one specialization, man. But I want to catch very fundamental information very quickly. The first thing you should tell your interviewer is table space is a logical storage unit which is stored within the Oracle database. Means for Oracle developers, if a question comes like where you are saving your information in Oracle, then you should simply say in the form of table spaces. Am I clear? Hello. In the form of table spaces. Be very clear about this. Now, the second thing is this table space is part of the Oracle database or outside Oracle database? Tell me now. This table space is part of Oracle database or outside Oracle database? Part of Oracle database. Therefore, remember, you cannot see this table space at any point of time physically in the file system of the machine. Means the name of the table space or the location of this table space or anything you can never see within your operating system directly. Am I clear? Now, because this table space is never visible physically on the operating system directly, don't you think that you can always expect high level security and privacy for this? So look into this particular point, man. How Oracle secures the architecture, I want you to understand. And whenever you're actually storing the data, come up very properly with my questions, man. Okay. You are having some business data, man. We are storing this particular business data where? Can you tell me now? As a developer, tell me where you are storing this business data. In the tables. Are you getting me? In the tables. Your business data is stored within your tables in which form? Your business data is stored within your tables in which form? Records. Okay. Okay. Rows and columns is correct. But I think the more better way we can say is in the form of records. Now, one business application can have only one table or many tables. Many tables. And each table can have only one record or many records. Many records. Now, all these records along with the tables, they need some space that should be occupied where physically they can be stored. Yes or no? Now, I want your answer. In Oracle, these all tables along with these records are stored where? Are stored where? Are stored within the table space. Okay? They are stored within the table space. Please remember these points. Now, this table space internally is keeping the data in the form of what? Files. It is keeping the data in the form of files. These files are handed over to the operating system. So whenever you want your data, your data should come from the file only. Am I correct? But as a developer, you request the data from the file or you request the data from the table. From the table. So remember one very important point. The table space builds the bridge between the Oracle database and the file system. Means between your operating system files and your Oracle database, if any communication has to happen, it is only the table space that will help you internally. Am I clear? It's a table space that will help you internally. So is the developer is directly going and talking to the underlying operating system and files? No. Who is communicating with the underlying operating system and files? Table spaces. Okay, table spaces. Now, is it not a responsibility in Oracle database to highly protect and secure table spaces now? As a developer, you will never do any of these activities, but somebody in your project called as DBA is doing this. If you kept experiencing that I'm 2 years experience, I'm 3 years experience or anything, even though you may not create the table spaces, you may not manage the table spaces, definitely a very fundamental question will come from your interviewer. Can you explain me what are table spaces? Keeping experience, you do not explain. The interviewer will have his own constructive doubts. He'll never ask you, can you create a table space? Even if he's asking, you can tell him, sir, I'm not a core database administrator. Therefore, technically, I was not in the process of creating table spaces in my project, but I have an idea about table spaces because being a developer, I need to understand the structure of my Oracle. Now, remember one thing. A table space is logically a collection of files. Yes or no? A table space is a logical collection of files which are actually part of your operating system. So one table space can contain, catch my words carefully, I'm very, very slow man. One table space can contain one or more number of data files of the database. Therefore, remember, one file is one table space is wrong. Is that point clear to you? So within one table space, you can manage one or more number of files as per your requirement. So how many files? Once again, it's a decision taken by your DBS. But here one very important point you should remember. One file should always be part of only one table space. Means you cannot take a file and make this file to become part of two table spaces. It's not possible. One table space can contain many files, but one file should be part of only one table space. Is this point is clear to you? Is this point is clear to you? These 2 points, you should technically keep it in your mind. Now, according to Oracle's database architecture, man, table spaces are fundamentally of three types. Okay, on the higher level category, your table spaces are of three types. One expected question: how many types of table spaces will be there in an Oracle database? It is any version, man. Starting from Oracle 7th version, you take also up to the cloud versions, whatever you're having, the structure is same. The first table space is called as permanent table space. The name itself is telling you anything you keep in this table space is what? Anything you keep in this table space is what? Permanent by nature. And any object that becomes part of the permanent table space, for that object only, a data file will be released and a data file will be implemented. Am I clear? Now, when you're working in real time, man, when you're working in real time, you're doing some activity. Now, suddenly you want to cancel this activity, man. Now, when this cancellation is possible in general construct of the operating systems, we have something called as undo. Yes or no? Hello. We have something called as undo. Do you agree with me? Now, anything which you say you're undoing it means which you did not make it permanent and you want to make it undo. Is it really stored physically in your system? No. But I think somewhere it is maintained in the memory. Somewhere it is maintained in the memory. The same way in your database also, when you're doing some operations, these operations still they are not fundamentally permanent. Oracle never makes them move into the permanent table space, but instead it maintains them in some specific location, such that anytime you want to make it undone, you can do it. And that also is done with one special kind of table spaces that are created, which are called as undo table spaces. They look like permanent table spaces only, man. But these table spaces are for the purpose of making any particular activity to be undone with respect to the construct of the management requirements. So these undo table spaces are generally used in Oracle when you want to roll back any transactions or you want to go for any recovery of the databases. Am I clear? So any information that is part of the undo table space only can be undone. When you think that this part of the information is permanent and it is expected to be existing always, then you will give certain kind of instructions to Oracle and Oracle makes them transfer to the permanent table space. Now there is one more table space called as temporary table space. When many number of times people generally misunderstand that temporary table space and undo table space are same. If both are same, Oracle never manages two different things, no? So there is some small difference, okay? Temporary table space will always stores the temporary data that only exists during the database session. Means what? See, I'm having some X data in my system and I want this X data to be arranged in a particular order in either ascending or descending, let us say. Arrangement of the data in ascending or descending is done in the files or it is generally done in the memory. I want answers. It is done in the memory. Okay. It's never done on the files. Be very, very clear about that. Now, if it has to be done in the memory, then technically, don't you think that if your file is having some 1 GB data, man, now you have to pull all this 1 GB data into your RAM and then you should arrange the data. Do you agree with me? But can you expect your operating system to allocate all that 1 GB definitely for you from the RAM suddenly because you want to arrange the data? No, because you may not be having that much of RAM with you. Then how it is managed? It is managed with a small concept called as what? Buffering and paging in general computer sciences. Am I correct? Hello. The same kind of architecture is designed in Oracle through temporary table spaces. So they store the data that is actively operating during that session, which is basically used to improve the concurrency of multiple sort operations that cannot fit into the memory directly. Temporary table space can be shared among multiple different number of database users, and mostly these temporary table spaces are used for sorting operations and some kind of searching operations in your Oracle. But finally, one thing is clear. Starting from storage to operational standards, in Oracle, everything should be done using what? Tell me, in Oracle, everything should be done using what? Table spaces. Is that point clear to you? So without table spaces, is internally Oracle is doing any kind of operation, man? Never. Just keep that in your mind. Just to make ourselves clear and constructional understanding of the process, when I want to come along with me now. When you have any system with you, I think the first thing you install and configure on your system is operating system. Yes or no? Quickly, you should be answering, man. Now, can we really do any configurations or installations of any softwares on your machine without the permission and consent of the OS? No way. Can we do anything in operation against to OS? No. So OS is definitely the controlling factor for any operation that takes place in your computer. Do you agree with me? Now, on this operating system, we are installing and configuring a database management system software. Our database management system software is Oracle. In the place of this, it can be MySQL, it can be PostgreSQL, it can be MS SQL Server or XYZ. But no database management system software can ever operate directly on your machines without integrating with OS. Now, within your database management system, everything is recognized in the form of, come on, quick answers. Within the database management systems, everything is recognized in the form of database objects. Okay? Database objects. There are many types of database objects. Table spaces are one kind of database objects. Tables are one kind of database objects. Your indexes are another kind of database object. So everything in general, we call it as what? Database object. Am I clear? Till here, are you clear? Now, these database objects, because they are part of the database management system, are they directly getting exposed to the operating system? No. That's the first layer of security, man. Now, anything you do in your business data collection from the database management system software is done in the next level layer. There's another layer now. And this layer is totally controlled using SQL Star Plus and PLSQL in Oracle. Am I clear? The language of communication and interaction for Oracle developers is what? SQL Star Plus and PLSQL. Clear? Now, to keep any database object permanently, it needs a physical space on the operating system. And this physical space on operating system is in the form of files. Now, we do not want those files to get exposed to anybody other than the Oracle developers. So what Oracle is doing? Oracle is internally building a logical environment of collection of files. Okay, it's creating a logical environment of collection of files. And this logical environment of collection of files under the control of Oracle database is called as what? Table space. So table spaces are purely database administrator views. Are you getting me? So DBAs are seeing the data in Oracle in the form of table spaces. Is that point clear to you? And any information in your application is purely in the form of table spaces, where developers never touch these table spaces directly, but instead developers are working on objects called as what? Tables, maybe indexes, some things that are called as views, maybe some n number of sequences, maybe synonyms. These are all the objects of what? Developers. Am I clear? So being in this class, you should learn these objects very properly, perfectly. Am I clear? So these all objects are in the perspective view of what? Developers. But these objects, do they contain the data directly? Come on, these objects, do they contain the data directly? No. When you give some data to these objects, they are handing over this data to table space. When you're requesting any data, from these objects, you're requesting the data. You're getting the data from where? From the table spaces. And table space is internally contacting what? The operating system. And operating system is basically recognizing your data in the form of files. So Oracle, is it not providing you multiple layers of security such that you don't ever try to operate on the data by physical state of the machine? Remember, man, Oracle is the world's first and the latest highly secured database management system. Be very clear. Nobody can breach at any point of time the physical state of the data from Oracle databases unless and until the DBA is keeping any loose holes. But Oracle by its architecture is very perfect. Now, don't you think that this all process can happen only when you are trying to install your Oracle properly on your machines? Am I correct? Now the question comes when Oracle is a software or Oracle is a database. What is your opinion? I want quick answer from you. It's a software or it's a database? There are two interesting things here. It is a software by installation and it becomes a database on your machine by configuration. Never when you're installing Oracle on your machine, you're both installation phase and configuration phase. You just install your Oracle, you cannot use it until you do not configure that as a database. So all developers are communicating with Oracle as a software or as a database. As a database, okay? That's very interesting factor. So try to understand one small piece of diagram for the next few minutes what I'm speaking, okay? This will give you some idea of how exactly Oracle manages the constructs, but technically, this is something we have to understand by the time we complete the course. Now, the first thing that is always installed on your machine is what? The first thing that is installed on your machines is what? OS, yes or no, operating system. Now, if I want to do any work on my computer, can I do that work without communicating with the operating system? No. To communicate with the operating system, can you tell me the most fundamental interface is what? The most fundamental interface to communicate with operating system is what? OS commands. Yes or no? Hello, operating system commands. Do you agree with me? And what is the interface from where you can communicate with these commands? Man? The most fundamental interface is command prompt. Do you agree with me? Should be watching my screen very, very properly, man. Okay, a command prompt. So, if you want to communicate with your operating system, we need commands, and these commands should be executed with the minimum fundamental interface of command prompt. When you request through the command prompt by executing the command, OS will try to react and it will try to return that output to you. Am I correct? Now, from the command prompt, can we execute only one command at a time or multiple commands at a time? Only one command at a time. From the command prompt, we can execute only one command at a time. Now, every command internally is having some kind of operational responsibility. Do you agree with me? So these commands, what you're executing on your operating system, internally in the operating system, they are called as system calls. Okay. What as an end user you're calling as a command, let us say, what you're calling it as a command, internally within the operating system, they are called as system calls. Is that point clear to you? Now, every system call is expected to communicate in the corresponding hardware. Every system call is nothing but it should communicate with the physical hardware of your computer and then do the work what you're expecting. Now, operating system, will it makes you touch the hardware directly? No. But without communicating with the hardware, can we complete the task whatever we want? No. Then how operating system protects this now? Operating system protects this by creating a special kind of layer called as what? Kernel. And this kernel in Microsoft environments is called as hardware abstraction layer, HAL. So every command you execute at your command prompt is internally converting into a system call, and the system call is sending this information to the kernel. This is what is basic idea, man. Okay. But can we complete any real-time implementation with only one command at a time? If I'm having any real-time requirement in my applications, man, can I do that using only one single command? No. I need a set of commands. Yes or no? But command prompt never lets you work with more than one command at a time. But whenever that X work has to be done, you should definitely do that work by using some n number of commands, one after the another. That is the area where operating systems will provide you one more kind of mechanism that is nothing but called as creating the shell scripts. For students who are coming from Linux or Unix like environments, don't you think that shell scripts are nothing but a collection of operating system commands which are expected to execute in one batch mode? Do you agree with me? Which are expected to execute in one batch mode. But can you expect your shell scripts to operate directly on the hardware without contacting the system calls? No way. Now, can you do everything what you want on your operating system using absolutely shell scripts and operating system commands? No. Sometimes I want some features which my OS is not providing me. Okay, sometimes I want certain features because of my development requirement of the solution for a problem. I want some additional things. Now, if those additional things, if you ask the operating system company, it may say like, sorry, we didn't design OS for that purpose. Now, OS is not going to provide you and you don't have such facilities. Don't you think that your project is a failure? Yes. That is the area where we need specialized programmers who can design some instructions that can be given in a better way to the operating system kernels. And these people, we call them as kernel or system programmers. And these kernel or system programmers are generally which people? Generally people who know machine language or C, C++. They will always design programs that can extend the ability and features of your OS. But can you expect these kernel programs or shell scripts work without contacting the system calls at any point of time? No way. Can you expect these system programs and your shell scripts bypass the kernel and do the job directly on the hardware? Impossible. So this is a kind of one bridge that is making you communicate with your operating systems and your hardware. Now these kernels, how they get the intelligence of communicating with the system, because within the operating system everything is a file. So these kernel or HL environments, they have the ability of understanding the file structure architecture of your OS. And using these files, we are technically trying to store the data within the hardware device, which you may call it as a hard disk. But on a computer, we can have only one hardware device or multiple hardware devices can be there. Tell me, we can have only one hardware device or multiple hardware devices? Multiple. Now, every hardware device has specific responsibility or not? Now imagine you are moving your mouse man. Imagine something is getting typed on your screen from the keyboard. Are you not confused? Imagine you're typing something through your keyboard and suddenly your mouse started moving on your screen. Are you not getting confused? But I don't think these things are happening. How it is possible now? Because all these devices are connected to the same computer. So internally, for every device you connect to your computer will be having some special kind of concept called as interrupt request. Okay, IRQs are maintained. So for every computer, we have something called IRQ controller, where this IRQ controller is a hardware device which registers every address of every hardware component you connect on your computer. So your kernel is the only layer that has a responsibility to communicate with the IRQ controller, where this IRQ controller has the address to the location where your corresponding devices are there. So this IRQ controller on my machine will have the address to the location where my disk is available, hard disk. And this hard disk controller is fundamentally making me operate on the hard disk for storage of data. Is that point clear? Can any software that you install on your machine bypass this flow and exist on your machine for storage and operation of data? No. But remember one thing, anything you keep in the operating system in the form of a file, I can access that file directly using operating system commands if I know them. Am I correct? Am I correct? Now, your business data given by your client is expecting that the data should be very highly secured and private, or it can be public. It should be private. Now, anything you keep in operating system, how you can expect that to be private? Because it can be exposed to any person who knows operating system commands. Yes or no? This is where Oracle plays a very, very wonderful role. It was the first database management system in the world that gave a very wonderful architectural environment for security and privacy. So I told you first you install your Oracle on your machine and then you configure Oracle as a database. As a software, once it is installed, then its configuration starts. When its configuration starts, what happens is Oracle creates its own virtual environment of database. Keeping this database environment only, Oracle does all the operations. But if Oracle wants to do any operation, it needs data from the files. Now, how Oracle knows these files that exist on the operating system are purely relevant to its database operations? Second, how operating system knows that this request that is coming for file operation is purely from Oracle only, and it should be answered and it should be returned only to Oracle only? How it knows that? It technically knows that with a construct called as a port number. So once your Oracle installation and configuration is completed, immediately Oracle requests operating system that please give me one communication channel, and that communication channel is called as port number. Every software in your computer will have their own port numbers. Man. Oracle also has some default port numbers that are requested. And when you install Oracle on your personal machine, for every database configuration you do, you will get one port number. The default port number allocated by Oracle is 1521. Am I clear? And this can be changed by DBAs. Are you catching up? Now, whenever an instruction comes from this 1521 port number, then only OS will understand that it is a request from Oracle database and it will try to operate on those files belonging to Oracle database. Now, can anybody touch those files from command prompt if they know the location of the files now? No. Why? These files will communicate via the operating system only when that port number is available. And this port number will be active only when you communicate from Oracle by using its own special language that is associated. Now, we said that in Oracle, everything is a database object, and these database objects are configured into one component called as table space, where table space is a logical storage unit which keeps a construct of files. Actually, physically, these files are not there. It is mapping these objects to the files, simulating one hard disk-like operation in Oracle database. So Oracle simulates the same storage architecture of your particular operating system in a logical way under the control of table space. Am I clear? Hello. Now, can we connect to Oracle without having a proper username and password? No. So Oracle registers all the users in one location. When a user gets connected, this user is operating in Oracle via the objects that are having permissions. No. In that way, Oracle is a collection of different kinds of database objects once its configurations are completed. Am I clear? Are you clear with the flow? And now these objects any user can use now. And these objects, if you want to use, you need a special kind of language for that. Therefore, once you install and configure Oracle, without your knowledge, you will get one configured environment of SQL Star Plus. So I think today it's clear why you should learn SQL Star Plus. Now, if you don't learn your SQL Star Plus properly and perfectly, can you communicate with your Oracle database? No. If you don't know how to communicate with the Oracle database, then technically I don't think you can develop any database applications also. So for students who ask me, sir, why I should learn SQL Star Plus? The reason is very clear and straightforward. And to communicate with this SQL Star Plus, Oracle provides you an interface called as SQL environment or SQL prompt. From this SQL prompt, you will start executing the commands of Oracle statements or SQL statements. But can you operate these things without getting registered in Oracle as a database userman? No. But these users can access any object here. Then how Oracle is protecting my objects from you? So the moment you get connected to your Oracleman as a database user, Oracle creates one session where the session registers your user ID and the session ID, where session ID is a randomly, dynamically auto-generated value. And it will exist in that particular database only for that session. Session means the time between your connection and disconnection is one session. Are you getting me? So every user in Oracle will have his own session. And once your session gets established, one session ID will be released. No two session IDs can be duplicated. And the same session ID may not be allocated second time when you are connecting to Oracle by disconnecting previously. Now, once your session ID is released, can I access every object in my database? No. So how Oracle knows this? Oracle has its own privilege management database. Internally, it has all the privilege management environments. So when you request any operation in Oracle, Oracle first checks whether you are an authorized user or not. You're having one authenticated session or not. You're having proper permissions or not. If all these three are satisfied, then the corresponding tables or columns or anything will be connected, and these tables and all these things operate under the table space. Table space sends the instruction via the port number to your operating system. Operating system will communicate with the files and the corresponding data comes to you. Is that flow is clear to you? Is that flow is clear to you? Now the question is, can anybody directly steal the data that is belonging to Oracle from the operating system? No way. Why? Operating system never communicates with you until you are not executing the corresponding SQL statements. So within your Oracle database, once its configuration is totally completed, which is the most important object you should always save and secure? Table space. So if at any point of time my table space is lost in my Oracle, what happens? Can you tell me? Physically, I have the whole data in my operating system, but logically, I lost the data. So database administrators, now if they recover the table space, don't you think that once again your whole data is available? By the time we complete our Oracle courseman, this process of the Oracle database side, what I showed you, you should be having clarity before you enter your industries. Operating system part, you leave it. That is none of your business. It is purely the business of system administrators and database administrators. So here everything is absolutely done by the construct of Oracle's own fundamental environment. Am I clear? So once I start my practical side of Oracleman, as I am taking you day by day into my process, this diagram will become clear in your brain. Are you getting me? Today, I just made the flow to be there in front of you such that you don't have confusions in the coming days whenever I'm speaking on Oracle database objects. Am I clear with you? Any fundamental confusion? People are not from background of computer sciences, you may have some confusions, man. My sincere request is once the corresponding video is uploaded either in my channel or your Google Drive, please make at least 2 revisions on today's discussion compulsorily. Okay? Rumaisa, please do a revision on this. Is the point clear? especially non-IT people, I want you to definitely watch this video, listening very properly at least 2 times. You'll get many number of doubts. Keep the doubts aside because I will clarify them as I'm taking you through different chapters. But at least the flow should be clear to you. Okay. Keep yourself on the process, man, where we need to understand some small things like what are the different kinds of table spaces that are technically used in Oracle starting from 10G. Prior 10G, architecture of Oracle for storage is basically same, but table space wise, number of table space wise, there is a difference. That's all. But this architecture, what I showed you in my previous slide, Oracle follows with every Oracle database version you have in the markets today. So from 10G onwards, what happened and how these table space plannings were done in Oracle, will pick up some technical information, and slowly I think we will get into the practical side anytime. Get ready. Feeling comfortable day by day, man? Hello. We'll make ourselves more convenient and more better as the system is moving on. Don't worry. Okay. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Once again with you tomorrow. Have a nice day. Take care of yourself. Have a great day.